Welcome to this week's Toddler Time. Now, it'll be the last Toddler Time over the summer holidays, but I hope to see you on some of the family picnics that we've got planned. 9 over the 6 weeks holiday. If you don't know anything about that, then please contact me and I'll send you some information. So what song should we do today? Shall we do God is Good to Me? Ready? Can you do that? That seems to be a favourite. God is good to me, God is good to me. He gives me lips to eat my chips. God is good to me, God is good to me, God is good to me. He gives me jelly to fill my belly. God is good to me, God is good to me, God is good to me. He gives me strength to swim a length. God is good to me, God is good to me, God is good to me. He fills my heart with lots of love for all the world to see. Very good. Should we do that once more? God is good to me, God is good to me. He gives me lips to eat my chips. God is good to me, God is good to me, God is good to me. He gives me jelly to fill my belly. God is good to me, God is good to me, God is good to me. He gives me strength to swim a length. God is good to me. What about Jesus' love is very wonderful? Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Oh, wonderful love. Stretch up high as you can. So high you can't get over it. Get as low as you can. So low you can't get under it. Stretch out as wide as you can. So wide you can't get round it. Oh, wonderful love. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Oh, wonderful love. So high you can't get over it. So low you can't get under it. So wide you can't get round it. Oh, wonderful love. And then one more. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. Repeat that. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. The rivers are his, the stars are... Sorry, I made a mistake. The rivers are his, the mountains are his, the stars are his handiwork too. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. The rivers are his, the mountains are his, the stars are his handiwork too. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. Now for a story today. Can you make me a face to show some feelings? So can you make me a happy face? Go on. Give me a big smile. What about a sad face? Can you make a sad face? Go on. What about an angry face? Can you pull an angry face? What do you do when you're angry? Can you pull one? What about an afraid face? Can you pull a face as though you're afraid? Maybe that. Or what about a worried face? Very good. Sometimes our feelings are complicated and they're mixture and it's hard to make a face. Now my next question is, have you got any friends that are friends, the whole family are friends? I expect you have. Now, Jesus was a friend of a certain family. Who is there in your family? Tell me who there is. Is there mummy? Is there daddy? Is there you? Have you got any brothers or sisters? Perhaps you've got one of each. That's your family. It might only be mummy and you. That can be a family. Well, actually, a family can just be one person, can it? But this family I'm talking about, there was a man called Lazarus, his sister called Martha, and another sister called Mary. And they were all friends with Jesus. Now, one day, Lazarus was very, very ill. What face might go with how Lazarus felt? Can you pull me a face pretending that you're ill like Lazarus? Perhaps like that. What about a face for his sisters, Mary and Martha? How might they have felt with their brother being ill? Perhaps they were like that, worried. Perhaps they were sad. So the sisters felt worried and felt sad, and they sent someone to find Jesus with a message that said, "Come quickly, your friend Lazarus is very ill." And so the messenger went off and eventually found Jesus. He was in another town a few miles away. But Jesus stayed where he was for 2 days before he left. And he eventually got to Mary and Martha's 6 days after they'd sent the message. And by this time, it was too late. Lazarus had already died and he'd been buried in a tomb for 4 days. What about pulling me a face how Mary and Martha might have felt because their brother had died? I bet they had a really sad face. Well, as Jesus was coming up to where they lived, Mary rushed out to Jesus and she said, "Lord, if you'd been here, my brother wouldn't have died. Why didn't you come? Why did it take so long for you to come?" She was very angry. Can you pull an angry face for me? "Why didn't you come, Jesus?" Probably like that. Well, Jesus just listened to her. He didn't say why he'd taken a long time. But then he spoke to her and he said, "Anyone who believes in me, even if they die, they will live. Do you believe this, Martha?" And then Martha said, "Yes, Jesus, I believe you are the Son of God." Martha ran to get Mary, and Mary came out to see Jesus. Mary was really sad. Can you pull me a sad face? And Mary burst into tears because she was so sad, and she fell down on the ground by Jesus. How did Jesus feel? Well, he felt sad as well. Jesus felt so sad that he started to cry as well. Then Jesus and Martha and Mary and some friends and the disciples went to the place where Lazarus had been buried. Then Jesus said something really strange. He said, "Open up the tomb, take the door away," which was a big stone rolled in front of it. Mary was worried. Can you pull a worried face? She was worried because the body might be smelly and she wondered what people would think. Anyway, the stone was rolled away. Jesus prayed and then he shouted at the top of his voice. Perhaps you can shout this with me in a minute. He shouted, "Lazarus, come out." Ready to shout, "Lazarus, come out"? 1, 2, 3. Lazarus, come out. Well done. I bet you can shout that even louder. Big deep breath. 1, 2, 3. Lazarus, come out. And guess what? Lazarus came out of the tomb with the cloth still around him that they put on you when you were buried. Imagine what face Lazarus had. Do you think it was one of surprise? Or maybe it was happy. Yes, I'm alive again. What do you think? Pull me a happy face. Well, Mary and Martha took Lazarus home. How do you think they felt? Happy. But not everybody was happy. Some people were angry because they didn't like what Jesus had done. What faces might they have had? And they made plans to kill Jesus, but that's another story. But many of Lazarus's friends believed in Jesus. Have you ever planted some seeds in your garden? Perhaps sunflower seeds or tomato seeds or lettuce seeds? Maybe something else that grew. Think about when you planted the seed in the ground or in a pot in soil, and then the seeds later came to life, didn't they? And they were completely different and completely wonderful from what the seed was. Remember, Jesus said to Martha, I am the resurrection and the life. And Christians believe that when they die, like the seed being buried, Jesus will give them a new and different and wonderful life with him. Well, that's the end of our toddler time today. I hope you really have a good summer, and I hope that we'll see you at some of the picnics. Bye. Bye.